The 2026 GMC Sierra EV is here with more options, more trims, and a new battery pack. Now, the previous 2025 and 2024 model year GMC Sierra EVs started at like $90,000. Now we're getting a new starting price of just $64,495. That is with the new Elevation trim and the new standard battery pack. Now, this standard battery pack is the same standard battery pack we see in the Chevrolet Silverado EV work trim. It isn't offered in the higher trims of the Silverado EV, but it will be offered in the trims of the GMC Sierra EV. So you won't be stuck with those big batteries that General Motors offers, like the extended range with 170 kilowatt hours usable, or the max range with 205 kilowatt hours usable. You can be modest and get yourself the standard range with just 119 kilowatt hours usable. Now, this does affect the range, and with our known efficiency of the GMC Sierra EV, as well as these known usable battery sizes, these range figures are just estimates. GMC says they will come out with the official range estimates closer to production and launch, but the standard range, we're probably expecting anywhere from 280 to 300 miles of range, while the extended will get about 400 miles of range, and the max about 460 to 480 miles of range. Of course, big battery packs, you get big range, but with that standard battery pack option, about 300 miles is actually really, really good. And considering price, I think this is the option that most people are going to go for. Now, we also get new trims. Of course, GMC first had the Denali, which is their luxury premium trim. We get the Elevation, which is their entry level trim, and the AT4, which is their off-roading focused trim. The Elevation will have an 8-inch ground clearance like the Denali, but the AT4, their off-roading trim, will have a 10-inch ground clearance, so 2 inches more than the Denali and the Elevation. The Denali and Elevation will have a max towing capacity of 12,500, while the AT4 trim will get a towing capacity of 12,300, so 200 pounds less, as well as the max payload capacity in the AT4 is going to be 1,950 pounds, while the max payload capacity in the Denali and the Elevation are going to be 2,250 pounds. So that AT4, I imagine with the raised suspension as well as some of the other off-roading components, means it has a lowered towing capacity as well as a lowered payload capacity. But this also makes the Elevation seem more appealing. You can get the same towing capacity and payload capacity without having to pay Denali pricing. Now, it is worth mentioning the Elevation trim will only get the standard and extended range battery packs. The AT4 off-road version will only get the extended and max range battery packs, while the Denali will get all three. It'll get the standard, extended, and max range battery pack options. Now, I have an entire video going over the 2025 GMC Sierra Denali that you can watch here, but with the new AT4 and Elevation trims, we get some new power figures as well as charging performance figures. So we don't yet have an idea of what the power will be like in the standard smaller battery pack yet, but for the extended range in the Denali, you'll be getting 645 horsepower, with the max range battery pack 760 horsepower, both with 785 pound-feet of torque. The GMC Denali will allow up to 350 kilowatts peak charging. Depending on what part of the curve you are in, you'll be getting 100 miles in just about 10 minutes. With the AT4 extended range, you'll be getting 625 horsepower, max range 725 horsepower, both with 775 pound-feet of torque. Same DC fast charging peak, 350 kilowatts. Then with the entry-level Elevation trim, extended range, you'll be getting 645 horsepower, just like the Denali, and the DC fast charging will only go up to 300 kilowatts. Of course, as these vehicles get closer to production, we will get more figures on the standard range battery pack, performance as well as range. And then once we get our hands on these vehicles for out of spec, then we'll be able to see what the true charging performances are. But knowing GM, looking at the GM lineup with the bigger battery packs, we're talking about 800-volt architecture. Charging has been known to be pretty good. GM has been known to have some of the best charging curves with this 800-volt architecture in North America. Now, the trim will also affect how much power the off-board powering system in the GMC Sierra EV can pull. For the Denali and AT4, you can get up to 10.2 kilowatts of off-board power. With the elevation, that'll be 7.2 kilowatts of off-board power. As I said, the elevation standard will start at $64,495. The extended range will start at $72,695. You then go up to the AT4 off-road versions. The extended range will start at $81,395, while the AT4 max range will start at $91,695. Then you get the Denali with all three battery options. The Denali will actually start at $71,795, a big jump down from the $91,000 starting price that we originally saw. Then the extended range will have a starting price of $79,995, and the Denali max range will then have a $100,695 starting price. Overall, GMC has pretty much decreased the starting price of the GMC Sierra EV, not only with more trims, but a new battery pack, as well as just reducing the price in general. The Denali extended range used to start at $91,995, so that's a pretty big jump down to just $79,995. Now let's read into the press release that GM has released. First, starting off with these images of the GMC AT4, and it is a GMC Sierra. Personally, this is my favorite looking EV truck. I hate to admit that as a Rivian owner, but this thing does look sick to me. With the AT4, you see the front end is pretty much entirely blacked out, almost kind of reminiscent of a grille that kind of covers the entire front end. And I think this is a nice touch. What do you think of darkening out the entire fascia? But going on here, more choice, more adventure. 2026 GMC Sierra EV adds AT4 and elevation trims. GMC today introduced the 2026 Sierra EV with a full range of trims, capability, and battery configurations, giving customers more choice than ever to find the perfect electric GMC pickup for their next adventure. The premium elevation and rugged AT4 trims join the iconic Denali to compete a lineup that now has a starting price of $64,495, including $2,095 of destination freight charges. Underpinning the Sierra EV lineup is the widest selection of battery options yet: standard, extended, and max range, which are the same battery options that we again see in the Chevrolet Silverado EV, but the standard only goes in the work truck version. The extended and max range only go in the RST versions. So with the Sierra EV, you can get any battery option. So with the Sierra EV, you can get the standard battery option without getting that work truck feel, right? Because the work truck, while it does have Apple CarPlay, which is kind of ironic, it is missing a ton of creature comforts. Elevation will be available with a standard or extended range battery, while AT4 will be available with an extended or max range battery. The Denali trim will offer all three battery options. Range estimates for all trims will be announced closer to launch, as I said. The 2026 Sierra EV AT4 will bring GMC's signature off-road capability, tech, and style to the electric pickup portfolio. In addition to a lifted coil suspension and 35-inch all-terrain tires, AT4 will feature the sophisticated and trim-exclusive terrain mode, designed to provide maximum maneuverability, torque, and precise control off-road, and integrated with one-pedal drive and automatic braking. Terrain mode combines GM's legendary off-road truck know-how with the latest software advancements to deliver cutting-edge capability. Additional AT4 features include 2 inches of additional ground clearance, standard 4-wheel steer crab walk, standard Super Cruise, AT4 exclusive 4-storm interior, available multi-pro midgate, and the extendable bed, which offers room for hauling items nearly 11 feet in length. Available 800-volt DC public fast charging capability at 350 kilowatts, enabling up to 100 miles of range in approximately 10 minutes, depending on your curve. Available 10.2 kilowatt Energy Transfer Pro off-board powering system, which includes 240-volt and 120-volt outlets. Red illuminated GMC front badge, and available up to 12,300 pounds of max towing. Now, the entry-level elevation trim will have a 16.8-inch diagonal center touchscreen, the same touchscreen that you're going to see in the AT4 and Denali. E-trunk with a power-operated hood, so power-operated frunk, multi-pro tailgate, and available multi-pro midgate as an option. Available 18-inch machine-faced wheels with gloss black pockets. Available 1800-volt DC fast charging capable up to 300 kilowatts. 7.2 kilowatt energy transferring with the off-board powering system, and then available Super Cruise. Again, it's just the entry-level model, but you're still going to be getting a lot of the standard great options that you're seeing in the AT4 as well as the Denali. One of the sad parts, the elevation will not come with Crabble. Now, the Sierra EV Denali, as I said, you can watch my full video talking about all of its features here, but the Sierra EV also comes with more color options. You're getting a new Glacier white tri-coat metallic, new Coastal Dune, new bronze metallic, new Magnus matte, and so it seems like GMC is expanding their color palette. Also, unlike the Elevation and AT4 trims, the Denali will have adaptive air suspension. Of course, the AT4 Elevation, those will have coil suspension, but the AT4 will have it lifted by 2 inches. Anyway, that pretty much sums up the GMC Sierra EV. It is the GMC Sierra. I think the best looking EV truck. Personally, with these new trims and battery option, the GMC Sierra EV is probably the one to go for over the Silverado EV, given that GMC is going to be a little bit more luxurious, but also based on the fact for this 2026 model year, it has a lower starting price than the 2025 model year Silverado EV. But soon we'll be getting more information about the 2026 Silverado EV, and maybe there will be a lower starting price, which makes it a bit more competitive with the GMC Sierra EV. But at least on paper, I think the GMC Sierra EV is just the one to go for. Of course, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As more information comes out, you'll see it here on the Out of Spec channels, and I'm also expecting more information about the 2026 Silverado EV, which you will see here first as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Isaiah. This is the Out of Spec Bits channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.